welcome to another exciting edition of The Woke Turning on the Woke. Now look, I was trying to let this go. I was trying to be respectful. I was trying to allow her mainstream media career to rest in peace. I was trying to ignore the ridiculous rhetoric, the unfounded accusations, but I can no longer ignore this story because yesterday, it crossed the line of absurdity, even for Jamel Hill. Sometimes I just hate saying that name, Jamel Hill. Throughout this year, we have eulogized the mainstream media careers of some of our favorite food groups. The donut diva, Brian Stelter. We laid his career to rest this past summer. We held a nice ceremony for Chrissy Cuomo. Now, Chrissy, he tried to reenact a story from the Bible. He tried to rise from the dead and revitalize his media career, but there's only one man, one dude, who was capable of rising from the dead, and he did it over 2,000 years ago. Keith Olbermann tried the same thing, but his resurrection wasn't anywhere close to the resurrection of Chrissy Cuomo. At least Double C was able to poke his chest out of the grave to take one final shirtless selfie for his lonely male followers. I can't even call what Keith Olbermann's doing an attempt at resurrecting his career. He simply rolled over in his grave to make room for his butt buddy Brian Stelter. Jeff Zucker, Jeffrey Toobin, founder of Club Wanker Spanker, John Harwood. It's been a busy year in 2022 burying the careers of the shit fucks. Until last week, all of these media careers that we have laid to rest, what do they all have in common? When filling out gender identification paperwork at Trandan's magical medical facility, where Sean becomes Don and Brandy becomes Randy. When filling out that paperwork, all these birthing persons chose to identify as evil white men. Before last week, check out who had been fired at CNN, MSNBC, mostly CNN. Every last one of them failed to identify themselves within a marginalized group. Don's lemons were rotten in prime time. I mean, his ratings sucked. But CNN could not fire Donnie. No. He's marginalized. He's victimized. Not only is he a member of Black Lives Matter, he's also the founder of Club Bongo. Birthing persons like Donnie, they just get reassigned. But there's one birthing person who was so vile, her mouth farts were so toxic, they melted the skin off the grilled woke wiener. In 2 years, her only accomplishment was disproving the notion that all woke women look like Rachel Levine. The one, the only, Tiffer, the bongo sniffer. Last week, MSNBC abruptly announced the firing of Tiffany Cross. Now, there were plenty of legitimate reasons to eliminate her woke welfare. I'll give you some examples here at the end of the video. But for now, let's travel inside the mind of Jemele Hill. Ooh, smelly Jemele! Just an FYI. This is interesting. Just an FYI. Jamel Hill surprised all of her fans by leaving a signed copy of her autobiography in the bookstore at the San Francisco airport. The bookstore in the airport, like most bookstores across America, didn't carry this book. They refused to put a work of fiction in the nonfiction section. The publishing company was pressuring Jemele Hill to get rid of these books. She didn't have to sell them. God knows no one wants to buy it. The publishing company, they just wanted her to get rid of them. They were taking up too much space in the warehouse. The book's been out for 2 weeks. Jemele Hill has just 23 reviews on Amazon. There are thousands upon thousands of copies available. Now, she pleaded with her followers. She begged them to go pick up this free signed copy at the San Francisco airport. That was 5 days ago. As of 10:30 this morning, the book is still sitting there. Now, my sources tell me if it's not picked up in the next 24 hours, the janitors are going to put it inside the toilet paper bin so it will be properly used. But anyway, grab your hazmat suit, put it on. Let's travel inside the mind of Smelly Jemele. Your sister in woke just went through the traumatic situation of having her woke welfare cut off. Now, she's going to have to get over her allergies and do something most shit fucks are allergic to doing, get a job. Now, if I asked you the reason Jamel Hill provided as to why Tiffany Cross lost her woke welfare, what would be your first guess? I know this is tough. It's tough. There are so many reasons to choose from. I'll make it a little bit easier. I'll make it multiple choice for you. A, mythical misogyny. B, transphobia. C, budget cuts. D, mythical racism. Well, Casey, that's too easy. It's obviously transphobia. MSNBC got tired of Tiffany Cross showing her strength. It was too masculine for their viewers. Viewers are afraid of a strong black woman. Now, that was a good guess. Mythical misogyny, that's another good one. It would be under normal circumstances. I guess I should have included E for all of the above because that could apply as well. But we're inside the mind of Jamel Hill, the feeble brain, who blames everything on mythical racism. According to Jamel Hill, there were two reasons MSNBC fired the bongo sniffer. One, mythical racism. Two, they allowed themselves to be bullied by Fox News. Check it out for yourself. Jamel Hill retweeted this last week from some shitfuck who calls himself a white peopleologist. Well, Casey, what the hell is that? White Peopleology. It's a program at Woke U centered around the habits and the evils of the white man. They cover all the evil doings of white men. For example, evil white NFL owners giving millions of dollars to black players. Evil white voters who elected a black president. Evil white cops who come running anytime black on black crime occurs. The white nationalist that he's talking about is Tucker Carlson at Fox News. Well, KC, what is a white nationalist? I have no fucking clue. My sources tell me shitfucks use the term white nationalist to describe people who fly American flags in their front yard and have the audacity to stand up for the national anthem instead of assuming the position of fellatio. According to the Huffington Post, Planned Parenthood, along with Jamel Hill and 40 other black leaders, signed a petition demanding a meeting with MSNBC, hoping to renew the woke welfare of Tiffany Cross. They want to explain their claims of mythical racism in person. Well, that's going to be an interesting meeting, considering the fact the woman who fired Tiffany Cross is a black woman. And since when did Jamel Hill become classified as a black leader? I have a lot of black people in my audience. I have black friends. You know how many of them consider Jamel Hill to be a voice for their community? None. Also, what the hell does Planned Parenthood have to do with Tiffany Cross? I am struggling to figure out why these so-called black leaders continue to support Planned Parenthood. I know they only teach distorted fictional history at Woke U. I'm assuming they don't know the real history behind the founding of Planned Parenthood. This organization was literally founded for one purpose and one purpose only. Control the black population. You don't have to take my word for it. Go look up Margaret Sanger. Jamel Hill, these so-called black leaders, they cannot fathom why MSNBC fired Tiffany Cross. They don't understand. In their letter to MSNBC, they complained about this so-called persistent theme of the silencing of black female voices when they speak necessary truths. What? First of all, there was absolutely nothing truthful about this show. This was 2 hours of blatant propaganda. They could not even classify this as a news program. It should have been classified as a drama series. And this persistent theme of silencing black voices, that is a myth. If anyone is being silenced in the mainstream media, it's woke white men. They're the ones that keep getting fired. I didn't hear any complaints or see any petitions when they were fired. But the very first time a black woman's fired, they claim mythical racism. This is the reason television networks are hesitant to fire black anchors, which the shitfucks think is a good thing, but they are not doing any favors for minority voices. Well, KC, it is a good thing. We need to be protected. We must be able to propagandize without fear of being fired. Yeah. Let me tell you what will end up happening, because this same backlash happens every time someone in a marginalized group gets fired. You know what's going to happen? Networks will quit hiring people like Tiffany Cross. The risk will be too high. If ratings suck and they have to let her go, they'll be accused of mythical racism. If ratings are high but they can't come to an agreement on a new contract, they'll be accused of mythical racism. According to Smelly Jemele, the 500,000 viewers cross-dressing with Tiffany Cross drew every Saturday on MSNBC was the highest-rated weekend show on the network. This is another example of corporate America keeping a strong black woman down. This is actually a rare case of Jamel Hill telling the truth. Tiffany Cross was the highest rated show weekends on MSNBC. But that's like saying the WNBA is the most watched event in the Dump Olympics. Tiffany Cross is the best of the worst. It's like Chris Cuomo bragging about being the #1 show in primetime on News Nation. If you compare Tiffany Cross to the ratings Joy Reid drew on weekends, ratings are down over 50%. Tiffany Cross unknowingly alluded to the reason that she was fired in a statement that she released. She said, "Fresh off the heels of a racial reckoning, there is always backlash. It is my hope that my last 2 years at MSNBC were disruptive to everyone." There you go, disruptive. It's one thing to be disruptive when you're drawing ratings. Television networks will tolerate pushing the boundaries when you're generating millions of dollars. Tiffany Cross, this woman called for shitfucks to pick up weapons and join the war against conservatives. She called for the castration of Ron DeSantis. She told her black viewers that evil white men were trying to physically harm them. When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, Tiffany Cross said white people were not allowed to have an opinion. I'm just getting started with all the hatred, all the propaganda from this woke woman. I have taken the time to put together a compilation of some of her greatest hits. Watch for yourself.
But this is a war. This isn't a battle. And we absolutely will win this war.
It is a war. It is indeed a war. And I have to say, they have won some battles, Jasmine, but we have to keep our eye on the war, and everybody needs to pick up a weapon and get involved, because this is for the safety and lasting of the country. Many of us have seen the dangers when powerful white people decide they want something, they annex it. And they've never had a problem replacing the people who stand in their way.
We see American white people are going crazy. They're resorting to violence.
This is literally what conservative white folks do when they don't get their way. They turn violent.
White people deputizing themselves in some position of authority to have jurisdiction over their life when they need to mind their blanking business.
I don't think it's our responsibility to be tasked with destroying and dismantling the racial oppression that's against us. That's just saying we're more at fault than the white people who constructed this system and the white people who continue to practice institutional racism.
A majority of white people do not support policies that would unpack and unroll and reform this system of justice. This is what they want. Matt Gaetz is giving the white folks what they want.
White replacement can strangle culture. So yes, we should all be concerned about white replacement. It is, after all, a very threat to our survival here.
Who is the real racist here? Who is the one obsessed with race? For 2 years, this woman went on national television and floated the false narrative that white people are racist and violent. You know what? I guess Jamel Hill is right. Racism is the reason Tiffany Cross got fired. But she's not the victim of mythical racism like they're trying to claim. For 2 years, Tiffany Cross promoted actual racism. On numerous occasions, executives at MSNBC begged her to tone down the rhetoric. Basically, they told her to stop lying. Tiffany Cross refused to comply, and the reason she refused, Tiffany Cross thought she was untouchable. She thought she was too important. She thought she checked enough woke boxes. The problem for the Tiffer, she thought wrong. But give me your thoughts. Here we have another case of the woke turning on the woke. Jamel Hill, so-called black leaders, insinuate the firing of Tiffany Cross is due to mythical racism. What do you think? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.